the difference between good athletes, specifically in my case, football players, the difference between the good ones and the great ones, or the okay ones and the good ones, whatever delineation you draw, is the ones that could pay attention and do the details right when fatigue set in. Mm-hmm. When you can focus and you are hyper concentrated on doing the little things right when you are fatigued. And that's something, that's not a skill that just innately happens. That's a trained skill. That's something that is learned. And so one of the things that the first time I talked with my son, he must have been really exhausted, but he was tired and he was doing burpees wrong. They'll come to the gym and they'll want to mimic what mom and dad are doing. Monkey see, monkey do, right? Yep. According to the socials.
The internet told me.
The internet's. And it's like the little details, like you cut things short or you don't do the movement right. But when they can hyper focus on details and think about it, that's a cognitive action. That's something that they mentally have to focus on. And that retention, that is just, again, sharpening the sword as it carries into other areas.
That's right. Heard some awesome stories of kids that would come in day one and couldn't do certain movements, or they were very shy, and then 6 to 8 weeks later their whole life was changed.
Yep.
And it got me thinking just about the importance. We talk about fitness, but we usually gear it towards us and towards
personal self-development,
right, and growth, adults, yeah. And so it just got me thinking that what are the benefits for our kids and getting them started early. I think there was a big fear years ago that starting kids on workout plans too early was going to stunt their growth, or it's bad for their joints, and all that's been debunked. Now, obviously, you don't want to go max weight at 6 years old.
I was going to say, I even think about the training we did, like even when I was 16, 17, 18. Mm-hmm. I mean, through my early 20s, really. I could see how that could start your growth. Though. Yeah. Really the incorrect squat form. All about, just heavy weight, moving it. Doesn't matter about technique. I mean, I could see how that could get kids hurt early on.
And that's the key right there is incorrect technique, going as heavy as possible. But assuming you start with a good foundation, you can start them young.
Yeah.
5, 6 years old with the basics.
Yep.
And so that's what I want to talk about today was just what are some of the benefits of training for kids, and what benefits will they see, not only physically, but mentally, emotionally,
confidence.
Exactly. So, but after Matt's episode, it inspired me. So we actually recorded Matt's episode, what was it, 2 weeks ago, whenever this episode airs. And I've told you before, my 5-year-old has always been a fairly athletic kid, right? He's always just kind of
humbly. You just stated that. I used to look at videos of him at not even 2 years old, throwing a baseball like a 12-year-old. Sorry.
Oh, that's the wife. You better answer that.
You're on the podcast, so just want to give you a heads up. We're talking about KidStrong and the importance of fitness for kids.
Peeling back the curtain here. Tyler's,
you sure?
Tyler's getting yelled at by his wife right now.
No, it sounds. We just talked, so I figured it'd be important.
Oh, he just some condescending sarcasm.
That's all right. She's actually on her way to the gym right now with the kids.
Good for her.
Yeah.
With the kids.
With the kids.
Love that.
So, anyways,
perfect
all right,
episode.
Well, have a good one, and I'll talk to you later. All right, love you. Bye.
You just got a live look behind the scenes. But that's awesome. That's perfect timing. She's taking the kids to the gym.
Yep.
But anyway, so I was saying, so my 5-year-old's always kind of been a little bit more athletic, and he's kind of gotten it. My 2-year-old, on the other hand, couldn't be more different. He's a big kid. He's a strong kid at 2 for 2.
Yeah.
But he's never once shown any desire for sports. He's big on trucks. He's big on, weirdly enough, he's big on baby dolls, which is kind of weird. But
I don't know that. I mean, right, whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, it makes him happy. So my point is, for him, it's not as natural.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get him involved in KidStrong because Matt was talking about, if you're walking, you're able to do this.
Yep.
And so we took him for his first class the other night. And
How nervous were you before?
I was fully...
Because Cooper's done it.
Cooper's done it. Mm-hmm. Cooper did it when he was 2.
Older. Yeah.
And but again, Case is a little bit more clingy. He's a little bit... We went in fully expecting this was going to be a disaster.
Meltdown.
We were going to have to hold him the whole time. He wasn't going to want to do anything.
Yeah.
That's what we went in thinking.
Yeah.
And we were just fully accepting.
Yeah.
And man, I could not be more proud of him. At first, he was absolutely like that.
Yeah.
Didn't want to get down, didn't want to participate. But man, by middle of the way through, he was doing everything.
That's awesome.
And he was a lot more athletic than I gave him credit for. Like, he was able to do stuff. So I was super proud of him, you know, just for getting in there and getting after it and love. And so we're going to go back every week now. I think it's going to be so good for him.
Yeah.
Because my oldest son has his sports, has his things.
Yeah.
My youngest son doesn't really have anything. And so KidStrong, I think, is that great foundation for him. I think him of the two could really benefit the most out of it. Agreed. So, again, I say all that to say, not only to all you parents out there, if you have a KidStrong near you, get to one, because it is an awesome... They're doing so many good things, as you heard on the episode, and as I witnessed and participated in.
And if you haven't, say you just clicked on this one, you missed that episode, I highly encourage you to just go back and listen, because, you know, Matt is super knowledgeable just on all the research that's been done about correlating movement with brain function, with confidence. Strength directly correlates with confidence, and all the things that KidStrong is built around and evolved over the years. If you have not listened, go back and listen to that. That'll put some context around this episode.
Yeah, and to elaborate on everything we talked about, and if you don't have a KidStrong, don't panic, don't worry. There's still things that you can do. And so here are some of the benefits that you could realize from getting your kids started with training early, and that your kids will benefit from, most importantly. And a lot of these really are very similar to what an adult would recognize. But just wanted to highlight some of the things that we talked about, not only in the Monday episode, but all of these are very scientifically backed. Lots of research on behind these. So number one, as you can imagine, it improves their physical wellness. So strength, endurance, coordination, balance, weight management, cardiovascular, metabolic health. That's pretty obvious, right? It's going to improve them physically and metabolically.
One thing to think about too is, especially younger kids, right? Their bones are developing, right? They're strengthening, they're hardening. And same thing, anytime that you are increasing their strength. And look, we're not talking about getting your 6-year-old in and bench pressing. That's not what we're saying.
Curls, yes. Bench pressing, maybe not.
Curls start as soon as they can grip anything. But it will, like, from a bone health standpoint, you know, you see so many broken bones early on, and it's not usually a huge deal just because they heal so fast, but there is a preventative measure associated with, like, the muscle mass that you can create and help gain early on. And we're not talking about that Russian kid that dad is, like, training. He's got a 6-pack at 6 years old, and he's doing like inverted dips and, like, all these crazy deals. But you know, I'm talking about bone density and strength early on, and that's going to help them later in life. The stronger their bones are from an early age, the better they are as they grow. Yeah,
and it's no secret childhood obesity is at an all-time high. Yeah. You know, kids are eating more calories than ever, playing more video games than ever. They go to school, which is 8 hours of sitting, because we've done away with physical fitness. Because
physical fitness is gone.
Right, right. So all of the metrics are going in the wrong way with our kids and their physical health. And so obviously training will improve that. Number 2, improves cognitive development. This one's really cool. Multiple studies have shown an improved concentration and memory, improved focus, and improved mindfulness. I think that is an under appreciated benefit of training, especially for your kids. Again, studies are showing that they do better on tests. They do better in school if they're physically fit.
Yeah, and so I had this conversation with my 8-year-old. I actually had a couple. I had one with him yesterday, and he completely forgot the first conversation we had. So it's a work in progress. But think about anytime a child is under physical exertion, And same with adults, right? And the example that I gave to my son was, hey, the difference between good athletes, specifically in my case, football players, the difference between the good ones and the great ones, or the okay ones and the good ones, whatever delineation you draw, is the ones that could pay attention and do the details right when fatigue set in. Mm-hmm. When you can focus and you are hyper concentrated on doing the little things right when you are fatigued. And that's not a skill that just innately happens. That's a trained skill. That's something that is learned. And so one of the things that the first time I talked with my son, he must have been really exhausted, but he was tired and he was doing burpees wrong. They'll come to the gym and they'll want to mimic what mom and dad are doing. Monkey see, monkey do, right? Yep. According to the socials.
The internet told me.
The internet's. And it's like the little details, like you cut things short or you don't do the movement right. But when they can hyper focus on details and think about it, that's a cognitive action. That's something that they mentally have to focus on. And that retention, that is just, again, sharpening the sword as it carries into other areas.
That's right. That's exactly right. Number 3, develops confidence. So the ability to feel pain and overcome it, and seeing results that they know that they've worked for. Just imagine the confidence boost. Last week you were able to do 3 push-ups. In 6 months you're able to do 10 whatever the metric is that you improve in. Imagine that confidence boost from the gym now to other things.
Well, let me ask you, with Whitney. I mean, what have you seen since she's been, consistently going to the gym and doing things that she's never done that now she's able to do?
Oh, it's everything we talk about. And the funny thing is, conversations we have now, I never would have dreamed that we would. She comes home so proud. Yeah. She'll tell me about her PR. She'll tell me about the workout. Yeah. I never thought we would have those conversations. Right. But she comes home in such a better mood, so jacked up.
Oh, yeah.
For everything that fitness is teaching her.
Hey, honey, what do you really think about, in your scapula position on your overhead squat snatch? What are you thinking? Are you really trying to be fully retracted, or are you trying?
Yeah, the other day she was like, my traps are being fully developed. I love it.
You've never been so attractive to me.
I love the turtle shell look. Just kidding. No, but seriously, she does come home and she's so proud of herself. Yes. She has so much confidence. Her mood is way better every time she comes home from the gym. So absolutely love it.
How come it hasn't worked for you?
Well, I know. I think I overdosed myself. Too much of a good thing. It's not such a good thing. Number 4, develops patience. So learning new skills takes time and repetition. Fitness teaches them that things take time to develop. Results do not come quickly unless you're taking in an outside help that does boost your results. But these things take time. It's hard to learn proper form of burpees. It's hard to learn proper push-up form as a kid. It takes time. Kids, it's so funny because they can get really, really strong, but their body never looks any different. For whatever reason, the kids are just, and it's the testosterone, it's hormones, it's all that until they hit puberty. But it's so funny because their numbers can go up, but their body looks exactly the same. So it teaches them that patience of, hey, I'm after other things. While I can't necessarily fully change my body yet, I'm improving in other ways. And so it teaches me that patience. Hey, results will come. Nothing I work for in this life is going to come easily or is going to come quickly. So it takes time to do this.
Yeah, and it's you've talked about this multiple times, but the effort paradox, right? The more you put into it, and we manipulate our kids multiple ways, but one of the ways that we do is for discipline. A lot of times, because our bigs are getting to an age where certain tactics just aren't the same. You take something away or go to your room or something. It's not the same, right?
Beating them with the extension cord doesn't work anymore?
Well, and I got to be careful saying this in public because my wife, every time I say it, she's like, you can't say that. But I'm going to say it anyways. But our favorite discipline is close-handed face spanks. I'm kidding.
You've got a forest behind your house. Our favorite discipline is send them out there naked. Good luck.
Oh, there's a bunch of poison ivy out there. I'm gonna need you to go do bear crawls.
Go roll around
through all the bushes in the creek. But what we'll do is, usually it's when there's fighting between them. Is okay. We're doing a wall sit competition, and
Love it.
You're gonna sit and you're gonna hold it until I tell you to stop. Until you guys can get along, that's what we're gonna do. Or it's a burpees or it's something like that. Well, my son Luca usually always got beat by my daughter Gia because Gia's just wired different, hyper competitive. Like she'll fall out before she quits.
She's a 20-year-old walking around in a 13-year-old body.
Yeah, 10-year-old.
10-year-old body. Same thing.
And so,
see, I'm confused about her age. She's just so mature.
But one of the things that's been cool to see is like he now is like, okay, I can make it 45 seconds. I can make it a minute. And he's like seeing this growth, and you can see the confidence to where now I can't use it anymore because he's like, hey, Gia, let's do wall sits. Hey, Gia, come on, I'm going to beat you. You know what I mean? And so, but it's taken 2 years of him getting crushed by his sister, but like he was slowly gaining ground on her. That's so it's interesting to see. I wouldn't say that that's necessarily patience. Hopefully, innately, that's teaching him that. But you do see with the progress comes that confidence that you talked about in the previous point.
That's right. That's right. Number 5, it develops toughness. It's natural for us all to seek comfort, even kids. Fitness teaches toughness through controlled suffering and pain. We talk about this for adults. We talk about this for kids. You're able to simulate very, very difficult but controlled environments and put yourself through physical pain, mental pain, again, in a safe way for it to translate to other areas.
Yep.
And I think that's one of the biggest benefits of fitness for kids.
Yeah, and I had this conversation. We had Dr. Cap, Fountain Life, on the show a little while back. Highly, highly intelligent, but we were having a conversation. We were just looking at some locations on the West Coast. And one of the things we were talking about was like the difference in kids today, like the toughness and like how we were raised. And there's this line that you've got to dance. Like there's toughness and resilience, and then there's stubbornness, right? The stubbornness is, okay, man, I just really don't feel right, but I'm just not going to say anything. I'm not going to go get it checked out. Like, man, my gut has been killing me, or my head has been killing me, or, I've been bleeding, or like whatever it is. But I'm not going to. Like, that's stubbornness. Like, that's not toughness. Like with kids, when I think toughness, I think resilience and being able to withstand challenging situations that you're talking about. We can train that into them by putting them in micro conflicts with the mind, conflicts with the body, conflicts with the elements, whatever it is, minor conflicts for them to overcome those conflicts. And then get the confidence, get the patience, get all of these things you talked about right now. But that all ultimately leads to that toughness that we are lacking. Because I think of the difference between my oldest daughter and my youngest daughter. My youngest daughter has zero toughness. Like the second it gets hard, she's out. And the problem is like, she kind of runs the roost. So like, it's like, oh, it's okay, baby. Go get you some iced tea. Go sit down, kick your feet up. I'll come get a big feather fan and I'll wave you. It's good. You're good. Get to work, Gia. So it's like, it's different. But our kids these days really need this because there's such a lack of it. And we just talked about it in the Coddling of the American Mind. Like we spent an entire book talking about the repercussions of a mentally weak, mentally unresilient generation. And this right here is the easiest and most controlled way to start building that resilience in our kids.
That's right. The next one, speaking of the book, is improve mental health. So the book talked about it. We talked about it with Matt. We're going to continue talking about it until it's no longer a problem. Mental health and mental health issues are at an all-time high right now with our kids. And a big component of that the book points to, that research points to, is they're spending 9-10 hours a day on social media. So they're constantly being fed with why they're not good enough, all of the problems that are going on in the world. Not only are they being fed by all that, it's also taking away, if I'm sitting on my phone for 9 hours, clearly I can't be physically active, right? because I'm spending most of my day glued to a screen.
Yeah.
So mental health, a big component of that is your physical health.
Yeah.
And getting into the gym, working things out, working out stress, improving, trying to reach new goals, trying to learn new things. All those things just improve your mental health. Mm-hmm. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
And so a big component on why kids need fitness is the improvement of mental health.
Well, and Matt said it in the last episode, is his daughter, Ella, she goes to school because she's strong, because, and she's doing jujitsu and some other things too, but she has a level of confidence that she has an unwavering resilience to criticism, to people not liking her. And I think any dad out there that has a daughter especially, and we want this for our sons too, but for a daughter in this time and age when there's so much criticism on every angle. Mm-hmm. You're not pretty enough. You're not skinny enough. You're not successful enough. You're not this. You're not that. You're all these things that they are not. To know that they are strong enough internally, yeah, I'm going to knock out 5 pull-ups. How many boys in my second grade class can do 5 pull-ups?
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's a confidence that leads to that mental health that you're talking about, because the mental health, that aspect of it, and there's some biological and some chemical things that
sure.
Right?
Sure.
Those are real things. I'm not acknowledging. But what you are doing is you have literally an armor mm-hmm. that protects you, and you're less affected by other kids, because mm-hmm. it's okay, dude, you're making fun of me. I know how strong I am. I know who I am. I'm strong, I'm brave, and I know that I can do it. So I'm not going to be affected by your comments on social media. I'm not going to be affected by you gossiping with friends. And that's where we're at, right? We melt as kids. Our kids these days melt when somebody doesn't like them or when someone makes a negative comment, because we just don't have that mental resilience.
Yeah. Well, I love the story he shared. He said his daughter that you referenced was getting ready for kindergarten. Yeah. Kindergarten.
Yeah.
And the day before school, she said, "Not everybody's going to like me, and I'm okay with that."
Yeah.
I thought, what an unbelievable mindset. I mean, that's kindergarten. She already has that. Now, the key is going to be to maintain that mentality as she gets into social. But the key is she's set the foundation.
Yeah.
Because they've been working with her from the earliest age possible.
That's right.
Through fitness, they've been building this mental toughness and mental health. Mm-hmm. So I love that story. And then lastly, development of social skills. Yeah. So one of the components of KidStrong specifically was at the end, after they're doing all their physical stuff, there was a game they did where there were cones all over the floor, and each kid had to go pick up a cone and then go give it to another child mm-hmm. and give them a high five. Yeah. These are 2-year-olds here.
Yeah.
And so what was cool is that was a development of their social skills. Uh-huh. So my son had to go pick up a cone, pick out a friend, give them a high five, and give them the cone.
Yep.
Just that small little act is just introducing that social aspect. Mm-hmm. Apparently when they get older, they have to get in front of the class and speak.
Yep. Just
these different communication skills. But
and handshakes. I mean, even early on, and even the younger kids start to learn that. Mm-hmm. And like you said, the social skills, looking somebody in the eye when you talk to them. How many kids nowadays can't look an adult in the eye?
Yeah, we're going through that right now with my 5-year-old.
And it's just, I don't think naturally. I think naturally, right? You think about a kid who's 3'3", right? And you're looking up at a 6 foot man, that's intimidating, mm-hmm. right? Our natural inclination is not, at that age especially, is not to make that. But just the kids that I look at, I'm like, I want mine to be like that, are the ones that look you in the eye, are confident, are respectful still, but those are the things that they're starting to teach kids in the KidStrong. But the fitness activity, the social interaction, if you're putting kids around other kids, putting them through adversity, putting them through challenges, right? It innately brings those kids closer together. They're able to connect. They're able to communicate. They're able to just, it's the idea of the team sport thing.
Yep.
Is, hey, we went through hell together.
Yep.
And we're closer because of it. And we're able to interact and we're able to relate. getting kids now to relate in a physical setting is really crucial.
Yep.
As opposed to, hey, I'm talking to some kid in Boston while I'm playing
Fortnite,
or I'm chatting with somebody in Seattle. Like the actual face-to-face, physical, nonverbal communication skills that are acquired by being in person. I mean, that's something that we're missing, and I really think we need to expand on.
No, well said. So how do you start this? I mean, how do you get your kid involved into fitness? Number one, first and foremost, I think, is you have to do it yourself.
Yeah.
You have to be the example.
Yep.
If you're sitting there, you're trying to tell your kid the importance of fitness and you're 280 pounds and never picked up a weight in your life, there's a little disconnect there, right? You need to embody this yourself.
Not that you're any less of a parent for that, but maybe start that journey together.
Actually, I would argue you are less of a parent if you're not physically active because of all these reasons that we've stated. You are leaving something on the table.
There you go.
By
you are
not being physically
reaching
active.
your potential.
That's exactly right. Yeah, I'm not afraid to say that at all.
Okay.
That you are leaving things on the table if you are not being physically active. It is your responsibility.
We just lost 13 listeners.
So be it. So be it. If that's hard for you to hear and that hurts your feelings, then it's probably true.
Yeah.
You are probably, if that cuts deep, that means that you know deep down inside you that you're leaving something on the table.
Yeah.
You are less of a parent. You're less of a person if you're not being physically active.
Yeah.
That's just a fact. Yeah. And I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but I'm going to stand by that forever.
I'm going to play good cop on it. You're not a bad person. You are not reaching
You're
your
not
potential.
evil, that's for sure.
Just because you... Yeah.
No, you're right. You're right. To soften that up a bit, you're not a bad person, but you're making a bad decision.
Yeah.
So do it yourself. That's number one. So get that baseline going. Do it yourself. Now, with your kid, an easy, soft introduction to fitness is team sports.
Yeah.
Something physically, whether it's, baseball, football, t-ball, whatever it is, or if it's KidStrong.
Yeah, if you're
something
younger,
that gets them physically active in a fun way.
Yeah.
CrossFit Kids. My 5-year-old's doing CrossFit Kids at the local gym that we're in. Something that makes it fun for them. That's a soft introduction.
Yeah.
And then after that, or in congruence with that, if you want to introduce them to quote unquote formal fitness, strength training, movements like that, the best way that I've found with my 5-year-old is I don't tell him anything. I'm just in the gym working out and I let him kind of go do his own thing. I'll maybe guide him a little bit on stuff, but I don't make anything. I don't make him do anything. I don't ask him to do anything. I let him figure it out himself.
Yeah.
I posted a video the other day. I have a neck strengthening harness. Yeah. Didn't ask him to do this. He puts on the neck strengthening harness, puts a little weight on, and just starts going for a walk outside on the sidewalk. Looks like an idiot. Looks like a lunatic, but he totally made that up himself.
Yeah.
And so I try to make it fun for him.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a push-up contest. Hey, how many push-ups can you do in 30 seconds?
Yeah.
And a cool idea that I heard recently that I'm going to do is get a big whiteboard in your gym. And now this is if you have a home gym. I do have a home gym, thankfully. But even if you don't and you're still doing these body weight exercises, write up his name, write up the exercise, and see how many he did.
Yeah.
And the next week or whatever, 2 weeks, if he beats that number, make a big deal out of it.
Yeah.
Write up his records up on a board.
Yeah.
Make it fun.
Make it
competitive. Yeah. Make it a game. We also do this other game where I have a tennis ball and I throw it at him and I bounce it and he's got to try to catch it either with his right hand or his left hand or both hands. And if he doesn't, he's got to do 5 push-ups. It's just making it fun. That's improving balance, coordination, proprioception, all these good things, strength, but all these different factors that are good for him. But I'm trying to make it fun because he's 5. He's not going to sit there and do a 5x5 structured program.
That's right.
Right. So it's just finding creative ways to introduce
early
them.
On, it's about movement and fundamental strength, right? So the exercises can be basic, but if you could teach, say from 4 on, start working on, okay, can your child do a push-up? And start on your knees, start up leaning on something. But if you can start to teach them, and the other thing too is, and one thing we didn't talk about is just body awareness and coordination and what it does in understanding, okay, oh, I've got to turn my elbows in. And I feel the difference in my elbows flaring out.
It's proprioception, right?
Exactly.
Your body awareness. Yep.
And so the fact that they can start to learn it, it's harder at that age. Or if you're in a full push-up plank position, right? Understanding that my butt's not way up in the air or it's not way down low, and I actually have to hold my core tight as I'm doing the correct push-up. Like, they're not going to get it right away. But if you started these basic lifts, a body weight squat, if you can teach your child how to squat correctly, knees out, staying off of your toes, driving through your heels, bringing your butt straight down to your heels, not pushing your butt way back like we were taught how to do squats. Like the ways, doing things correctly. And if you can do these core lifts, and then like, again, burpees are like a really good multifunctional movement for kids that, one, work cardiovascular, and then two, are going to strengthen them as well. I mean, keep it basic, but like you said, gamify it, make it fun. But one thing that I will say is, as a parent, do not come in hot and force your kids to do this.
Yep.
When it becomes, you need to go run 10 hills and you need to do this, like they're gonna push away from it. You have to gamify it, make it fun, and the best way to do it is for them to watch you and want to emulate you, because they're always going to want to emulate their parents.
That's right. I have not asked my 5-year-old to do one single thing.
Yeah.
And yet every morning when I'm out there in the garage gym, he's out there with me doing stuff.
Now, not every child's going to be like that.
No,
like, again,
no. True.
My older son and my younger daughter, they are not wired that way. They've become that because they're around it, but not everybody's wired that way. But time and consistency, like now when I bring them to the gym, I literally have to get them. I'm like, okay, listen, y'all can't come in and lift with everybody else. These people are paying to work out. Like, you can't just come get in the way and ask our coach to spend time coaching you. I love that. And if we want to do that, we'll do it separately. But like, just go outside and play. Yep. Like, go play basketball, go do something else. But like, it's to the point where I'm having to shoo them out, where before it was like I had to beg them to come in.
That's right. Yeah. So for all the reasons we've stated today, do it yourself, make it fun, and start with the basics. If you stick to those 3 things, that's a great foundation that you're setting your kids up for on hopefully their lifetime of fitness. Again, all the reasons we talk about today, it's going to translate to everything that they do. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this episode. If you did, please help us by sharing the podcast. We're on any social or platform you can think of listening to these. We're on YouTube. We're on Instagram at one.shot.pod. We really, really appreciate you guys' support. We do this because of you guys, and so we thank you for that. So have a great rest of your Wednesday, and we will see you tomorrow.